Hi YouTube. Today I come to you with one of my favorite videos to watch, and I'm so excited that I'm making one because that means that I have bought a plethora of books and enough to make a video like this. I would like to give a disclaimer that most of these books were under $5 because I had a very successful thrift experience. A few weeks ago at Goodwill, I found somebody's entire summer book talk collection at Goodwill, and I'm about to show those in here. I also, where I live, recently got an Ollie's. I don't know if you know what an Ollie's bargain outlet is. It is the best thing that I have ever come across. Like a bargain outlet, and they buy things, or the things that they sell are things that are from stores that either went bankrupt or they made too much of something. So it's really good stuff, but really cheap. I've been there quite a few times because their book selection is magnificent. Oh my gosh. All of these books that I'm going to show, let me count how many. I have 20 books that I'm gonna show. All of them I accumulated within 3 trips. So, and I didn't spend more than $5 on any of them. This is like a thrift haul, basically. The first book that I got is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I got this at Goodwill, and I've actually already read this. I gave it a 4 stars, I think, or 4.5. I loved this book. I have been in a reading slump for probably a good month, and I saw this in Goodwill. I've heard about it. I know that it's popular. I know that it's well loved. Picked it up. It was also hidden behind a bunch of children's books, so somebody was definitely gonna come for this later, and I took it. Oh well. And I picked it up because it just looks so whimsical, and that is literally the perfect word that I would use to describe this book, is whimsical. It is about a girl. Her name is Mina, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is Mina. Mina lives in a very small village where they believe heavily in the gods' traditions, and sacrificing for the gods. And every single year they have these raging, huge storms, and the only way to end them is to sacrifice a girl from their village or from outside the village that travels to the village to the sea god to try to calm the storms, so they can just live in the village, basically. So every year a girl gets sacrificed. Her brother's girlfriend was supposed to be the one that was gonna get sacrificed, and Mina threw herself over the boat instead. And she believes when she got there that there is a way to end this tradition, end the sacrifices, and end the storms. And she basically just works to try to figure out that way. The writing is so different. Also, I put this on backwards. The writing is so different than what I would have expected from this book. I've just whimsical, magical, mysterious is a good word. You don't really know who to trust, and why certain characters are there for a bit, and then they it comes out why they're there in the end. But it's so good. I didn't expect to love it so much. It got me out of my reading slump. I'm very grateful for this book, basically. I'll just keep going with my Goodwill haul. The first book that I saw in this Goodwill that started this whole buy a bunch of books for really cheap kind of trend was Funny Story, and it's a hardcover perfect edition of Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have already read this on Audible, but I didn't have the physical copy. I also don't know the character's name in this. Oh, Daphne and Miles. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about Daphne and Miles. And Daphne, she's a children's librarian. It's been a long time since I read this. She's a children's librarian, and Miles works at a winery. And both Miles and Daphne, their own separate partners, broke up with them and then got with each other. So that's how Daphne and Miles know each other. Daphne has to move in with Miles because her boyfriend kicked her out so that he could move in with Miles' girlfriend. A whole messed up thing. Obviously it's a romance, so Daphne and Miles kind of get close. They get on each other's nerves at first because they have to live together. They don't know each other, they're complete strangers, but obviously it's a romance, so they figure it out. They figure out that they like each other, and it's really sweet and really cute. I love that she's a children's librarian. That's one of my dream jobs, and I like Miles. He's very sweet and just a very good male love interest in this book. I love it. The next book I saw was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. When I saw this, it was I struck gold. I've heard nothing but good things about this. I haven't read this one. So it's about Emma and Justin. It seems like this is also a little bit more of a romance because it talks about in the summary how Justin has to assume guardianship of his 3 siblings. So I'm very excited to see where this could go. I like romances that are a little more than the romance and are a little deeper. And I think Abby Jimenez is really good about that. I read Yours Truly by her, and she talked a lot about anxiety and mental health in that. So I think she's really good at getting deeper than just cheesy little romance. I think there's always a lot more depth in her books, so I'm very excited for this one. We're still going with the Goodwill trip. The next one that I got was Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. If you haven't heard of this book, where have you been? It's now also a TV show. I forget where it's a TV show, maybe on HBO or Apple. Our main character is Elizabeth, and it takes place in the 1960s. It starts out with her on a research team completely dominated by men, and obviously she's smart and brilliant, and it kind of is about that woman in a male-dominated field kind of book. She falls in love with a man on the research team. I know that it goes into her being on like a cooking show, and she uses her chemistry background on that. I think she's also like a mother during that time, so it's kind of like the journey between being a very, very smart and intelligent woman in the 1960s, going through that journey of motherhood and being like a wife when you're really, really smart in the 1960s. I think that's kind of like the general idea of this book. I'm very excited to read this. I've been wanting to read it for a really long time, and I'm so happy I got it in a beautiful hardcover edition. Are you kidding? The next few I got kind of as gifts for people for Christmas. I don't intend to keep all of these for myself. I wanted to give some as gifts. So I did get The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I got this one for my mom because she loved The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. It was like $2.99, I think, so I thought, why not get her another Kristen Hanna for Christmas? This is about a father who comes home from the Vietnam War, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. Yeah, the Vietnam War. Obviously, his mind has changed. He thinks he needs something new, so he moves his family to Alaska, and they basically live off the grid, I think. That is all I know from this book. I think it's just really a journey about navigating the world after a war, especially when your mind has been changed so much because of the war, and doing it in an off-grid location like Alaska, I think is gonna make for a really great story. I know her stories are very heart-wrenching and beautiful, so I think my mom will love this one. I also got The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I have had this book for a very long time, and I've never read it. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I found it from Noelle Gallagher, I think is her name, on YouTube. It's one of her favorite books ever, but I just have yet to get to it, so I actually picked up another copy because I want to give this to my friend so that we can read it together at the same time to hopefully motivate me to read it. The only thing that I know about this book is that it is about twin sisters. Okay, identical sisters. One sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. Across the country, the other secretly passes for white, and her white husband knows nothing of her past. Okay, that is way more intriguing than I actually thought that this was. That is kind of piquing my interest a lot. I then found Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. This is not for me, this is for a friend. I saw it on their want to read list for Goodreads, and I'm gonna give it to them for Christmas. I don't know what it is about. Oh, it takes place in Scotland, which is very fun. And they're reintroducing 14 gray wolves into the remote Highlands to help with the landscape. I think this is like kind of like a mix between a thriller, mystery, fiction, general fiction, I don't know, because it talks about how the farmer is found dead and the person that is taking care of the wolves is being blamed for that because they think the wolves killed the person, and she has to like navigate that. So I think it's a mix between like a thriller, mystery, just general fiction, that kind of thing. And I think my friend will really love that because this seems right up her alley. I also found The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Again, this is gonna be a gift. I don't read thrillers. Sorry, I don't know what this one is about, but I know that it's a very popular thriller and I'm gonna give it as a gift. If you do care about what it's about, it is about Emma Carpenter. She lives in isolation with her golden retriever. Her only human contact is an elderly neighbor, Deke. I don't really know why she's in absolute isolation. I'm sure the book tells you that. Looks like it's a stalker book. So she thinks somebody is stalking her. She writes reviews on the internet and things kind of come about every time after she writes a review. So she thinks like somebody is reading those and then getting mad is what I'm getting from that. The last book that I got from Goodwill before I moved to my Ollie's haul is All the Dangerous Things. Again, I'm getting this, I got this as a present. It looks like this is about a woman whose son is taken from her in the middle of the night. She agrees to be followed by a true crime podcaster depicting what happened with her son the night that it happened, all of that, and she's still on the hunt to find him. Again, I don't read thrillers, this is not up my alley, but I got it as a gift and I found it at Goodwill for like $2.99. Moving on to the books that I got from Ollie's. I'm so excited about all of these. They have even special editions of books. So this is the Shadow and Bone collector's edition. Yeah, collector's edition. So this is the cover of it. This is the book. It is so beautiful. If you don't know the Shadow and Bone series and the Six of Crows following duology, I highly recommend reading them. I don't even know how to explain them, honestly. It takes place in the Geisha universe, Geisha, and there's powers, and it's like a supernatural kind of fantasy. People are fighting the bad guys. I don't know. The Six of Crows duology is one of my favorite duologies of all time, so I thought getting the collector's edition of Shadow and Bone wouldn't honestly be a bad idea at all. I also love the Netflix series of this, so definitely if you're not even gonna read the book, try out the Netflix series. It was done really, really well. I also picked up Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emick, Stephen Levinson, Benj Pasek, and Justin Paul. I believe this was a show first and then created into a book. This obviously follows Evan Hansen, who is a high school senior, and somebody in his high school class dies. And I don't really know how the letter comes about, but a letter comes out that kind of talks about how Evan Hansen is this guy's best friend that died. They were not best friends, but suddenly Evan Hansen is popular and is known and is being talked about, and the kid that dies family wants to get to know him, and they want to know more about their son's life from his best friend's point of view, but they were never actually best friends. So that's kind of like the mystery in it all. It sounds super interesting. I haven't read this, but I do hope to kind of see the musical. The musical is on December 6th through 8th in my city. They're coming and doing the musical in my city, so I'm kind of hoping to read this and then get tickets to that because I think that would be really interesting. I also picked up Daughter of the Pirate King. I have also actually already read this. It was $2.99. If you can't see that, most of these were $2.99, which is insane. This is a lovely book. I gave this, I think, 4 or 5 stars. I had so much fun reading this. It is a young adult, so it's a very quick read. There isn't even that many words on each page. It follows Alosa, who is the daughter of the Pirate King. She plans her own kidnapping because her father assigns her a job to go find the other missing parts of a map. And the map will lead you to the island of absolute gold. And nobody has been able to find this island ever. And you need all 3 parts of the map to be able to find the island. She gets sent on a, what's it called? Not a job. A mission. She gets sent on a mission to find the other parts of this map. She sets up her own kidnapping. She gets aboard the Nightfarer, which is the ship of one of the owners of a third of the map. It basically just follows her trying to keep the secret that she's on the ship. For a reason, she can't show all of her strengths because they have to know that they think that they kidnapped her, like for their own reasons, but she's actually there for her own reasons. It's super fun. There's a little bit of a romance on the ship, which is very fun. Obviously, it makes it a little more high stakes. And yeah, I read this in like 3 days. It's a very easy, fast read for $2.99. I also got Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. This was $4.99. You're joking. I've never read a Catherine Center book before. I have The Bodyguard up there, which I know is like her most loved book, I think. I think everybody rates that one a 5 stars. I love that this one looks like it takes place in the city. Okay, I forgot. She gets diagnosed with facial blindness. So she can see, but every face she looks at, she can't identify, which is like a real thing in the world. Obviously, if you've never heard of that, she gets diagnosed with that. So I think she falls in love. It's a romance based on not seeing his face, which is very interesting, very intriguing, and the cover is beautiful. I don't know why Ollie's had so many Chloe Gong books, but I picked up 3 Chloe Gong books. They just had her entire collection, I guess. I got the Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. No idea what this one is about. I know Chloe Gong is a super amazing writer. I think she's really young too. It is a young adult epic fantasy. I haven't ventured into the fantasy world in a few weeks now. I'm still getting through the Throne of Glass series, so I probably won't get to this one anytime soon, but it was $4.99 and it's a popular Chloe Gong, so I obviously had to pick it up. They also had Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This one was $2.99, but it is a beautiful hardcover book. I don't know what this is about. It starts with saying it is 1931 in Shanghai and the stage is set for a new decade of intrigue. I have a friend that absolutely loved this book. She gave it 5 stars. I think it's a duology. This one and another one, I think they're a duology. My friend absolutely loved it, and she's been trying to get me to read this for a very long time. Oh, and it has code names. The last Chloe Gong is These Violent Delights. Again, $2.99, a beautiful hardcover copy. Are you joking? I'm so sorry if you do not have an Ollie's near you because you're joking. Okay, this one says the year is 1926 in Shanghai hums tune of debauchery. Oh, so I think this one might come before that series. Okay, yeah. So this is a duology and it comes before Foul Lady Fortune. I didn't know that. I probably should have put that together, but that makes a lot more sense. I then picked up The Lies We Sing to the Sea. This was $2.99. I haven't heard much about this, but I've seen it kind of circulating around. Each spring, Ithaca condemns 12 maidens to the noose. Oh my gosh, why did I not know that this was Greek mythology based? Oh, I'm reading this next. If you don't know, I am obsessed with Greek mythology and anything to do with Greek mythology. This is so exciting. They sacrificed to Poseidon to keep the sea god's unforgiving curse at bay. Oh, so this is literally just like the girl who fell beneath the sea who has to sacrifice for the sea god. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Yay! Lies We Sing to the Sea. Who's the author? Sarah Underwood. I'm so excited. The next one I got was They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is also the collector's edition. It's like shiny and it has like extra material in it. I've never read this. I know that it is a beautiful, very popular story. I got it for $4.99. The two main characters are told that they are going to die today and they're total strangers and they try to live out their last day together in like the best way possible. I'm very intrigued. No wonder it is so popular. Another special edition, collector's edition that I got was the Cinder. The Lunar Chronicles are probably one of the series that got me so into reading in general. I read them in, I think, middle school. I've read them like 3 times. I love them so much. If you don't know, well, I guess I'll show you the book first. It's this beautiful bionic hand. If you don't know, these books, all of the Lunar Chronicle books, follow and are kind of like retellings of famous princess fairy tales. So Cinder obviously is kind of a retelling of Cinderella, and she has a bionic hand. So get comfortable. She has a bionic hand and she is like, I think like an engineer robotic kind of mastermind, and she sets up shop in the market every weekend and she ends up meeting the prince of her kingdom, and they end up, it's a little bit of a romance, whatever, and they end up basically like trying to conquer the world together because it's a very high stakes sci-fi book. All of the books follow like a retelling of some kind of fairy tale. I think the next one is Scarlet, and it follows, it's like a Red Riding Hood retelling, and the love interest in that is like the wolf. The third one is Cress, and that follows like the Rapunzel retelling, and she's like up in a spaceship, like isolated from everybody. And then there's Winter, and that follows Snow White. I love them, and they're all intricately connected. Obviously it's a series, but each new like character that comes up is a retelling of some kind of fairy tale. Obviously like Cinder will know Scarlet, Scarlet will know Cress. Like, it's a series. They're so good and they're so well written. Having this makes me want to reread it for like the 4th time. I love this series. I love this series so much. Okay, we're actually at the end. So last but not least, I got Betting on You by Lynn Painter. I actually ordered this from Amazon because I had a Amazon gift card and I thought I'd put it in this video. The only book that I've read by Lynn Painter is Better Than the Movies, and I loved it a lot. She writes really cute, sweet YA romances, and that's exactly what this is. Oh, and it's like a YA enemies to lovers fake dating. Very fun. Covers are always the best. That is it for my book haul, all 20 books that I've gotten in the last few weeks. Probably shouldn't say that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If there's any of these books that are your absolute favorite, please let me know. I don't really know what to start next. I'm definitely thinking The Lies We Sing to the Sea or whatever that one was called, because I'm obsessed with Greek mythology, so I'm very excited about that one. I'm also very excited for Betting on You. I need a cutesy little romance to fill my time. Yeah. If any of these are your absolute favorite, please let me know so that I can read them quicker. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Okay.